Hi, can everyone hear me? Is there too much latency? I hope the mic's working. Because if it isn't, that means all of my hard work lugging everything up to this office would have been in vain. Can I get an affirmative from the chat if you guys can hear me? You guys should be able to hear me. More peeps coming on. Sorry, guys. I know we started a little late today. Okay, sweet. You guys can hear me. Thank goodness. Hi, everyone. It's a precursor to everything. Sorry for being late. Usually I start these things off half an hour early and get the link out and the news out so people have plenty of time to all gather. But because we moved to a new location, as you can tell, things have been weird and mumbo jumbo and just upside down and whatnot. So yeah, without further ado, since it looks like it, whoa, lots of people on. Okay, glad to see you guys on. Hello from North America. Hello from Los Angeles. Again, my name is Annie. I am technical support here at North America, Los Angeles, and here to answer some of your questions today. Just as, you know, a preface, I do this every time, I'll spiel. Those of you who've been here before, you know it. Those of you who haven't been here before, here it is for you. So first and foremost, do not worry about not getting your answers or not getting your questions answered. Please do not spam the chat with your questions or with repeats of your questions. I will go from the top of the chat down. Granted, I will not get to every single one of them, because sometimes I might skip one or like the chat just bounces and I have to scroll back up and I lose my place. But I will get to a lot of them. And if I don't get to any of them, you can always post the question underneath the link of the live stream recording that I will be posting afterwards. And also, if you haven't noticed, there's an entire schedule of live stream times for the next 4 weeks. There are going to be 2 live stream slots for the next 3 to 4 weeks. That's a lot. You got lots of opportunities to ask your questions. So being that I would like to get to as many questions as possible, please refrain from spamming the chat. And honestly, it'll make everybody's life a lot easier. And don't worry, I go from the top of the chat down. Second is, I really hate to say this, please no trolling in the chat. I know that most of you guys are nice guys, nice people, nice gals, but honestly, I just don't take that stuff at all. If you spam the chat, you will most likely be blocked from the chat just from detracting attention from all of the pressing matters that other people need to be addressed and from things that I would like to address to other people. So yeah. Is there anything else I want to address? Oh yeah, shout out to Christopher. Yes, you don't have to do anything extraordinary. You just have to mention, like, honestly, like, it's not like I don't know all the hard work you did testing the 123D. Can I get a round of applause for Christopher and his QC and his client QC squad for testing the 123D? Because if it weren't for these guys, if it weren't for these fellow testers that you have, or your fellow clients, your fellow pilots who take the time because they love the hobby and they love Hubsan products to test the products, you would not be getting stuff like the 123D. And I can tell you, it's one of those aircraft models you will not be disappointed in. I flew it myself. It's nothing like the 122D. It really is not. It's quite something. We had our technician go all the way, like, we sent him back to China for training at the QC factory. He was the one he also made a visit to R&D. He was the one who tuned the aircraft. And this guy he loves racing. He built his own racers. He's like, so hope you look forward to that. All right, last thing I want to say, I thought of it after much ado, is we will not be addressing any sort of firmware or any sort of to-be firmware releases just So just because whenever we work on a piece of firmware, we want to make sure that it works completely properly. It takes a lot of time just to develop the firmware, and it takes even more time to test it. It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3, plug it in, we send you new firmware, and everything's good and dandy. We have to, it has to be tested copiously in order for everything to be working properly. And we don't want to put any pressure on that. We don't want to rush it because bad things happen when we rush that, as you can imagine. It would affect a lot of people on a mass scale if something went wrong, and we don't want that to happen. So we're not going to be addressing that. We can address things that, assuming that I know, like that I know the answers to the questions that you ask about current firmware. I do have to say I don't know too much about the latest wave. Personally speaking, just because I haven't really tested it all that much. From what I've heard, though, they have released new firmware in terms of people reporting that they can just calibrate once and just fly without having to calibrate it again and again. I haven't tried it myself, but apparently it's pretty effective in most quarters. There are a couple of bugs from what I've heard. I recommend actually going to the Hubsan QC and support Facebook group for a couple more answers to that, because Christopher Wade and his very fine team had done a lot of testing on it and have found out a lot of interesting things that went on with that particular set of firmware that just came out. So yeah, let's start with the questions. Uh-oh, chat just disappeared. Okay, phew, alrighty. Starting from the top. Again, please do not spam multiple copies of your questions. I will do my best to get to as many people as possible. Okay, wondering if us peeps in Europe will be able to buy spares from the Netherlands office. It would make things so much easier and quicker. If I'm not mistaken, after, I don't know how the progress is over there, but judging by what has happened in North America, meaning that we have a repair center and an adjunct warehouse where everything goes out in bulk, then yes, they will do that. Because frankly speaking, it's good business. Not only does it establish more of a rapport with clients in a particular region, it's also much more convenient for both the client and the company because shipping costs are much lower. Like us having to ship everything from China and North America is a huge drain on resources. And also it's the double negative of having the client wait for a long time before parts go out. So yes, I do think they will do that. It's common sense. I just don't know when or how, because again, most of my attention is focused on the North America branch. I have a lot to do as it is, and we only occasionally get, reports going out after the fact that things have happened outside of the North America office. So unfortunately, I can't give you a specified time frame, but yes, I do believe they will do that. It's a pretty safe bet. Okay, second, let's go for a full demo of the 123D. I'm not very good at flying. I am decent at flying manual. I can keep an aircraft in the air and make turns, and that's about it. I haven't had time to learn how to race yet, so I can't demo because the room is big enough for me to demo for you. Okay, say hi to yourselves. But because the room is big enough to demo, but honestly speaking, you wouldn't want to see me fly that thing. I would probably screw it up. Actually, it's already screwed up. we had 123D here. We were testing it, we were just flying it. The technician and I were having a crap ton of fun with it, and office manager tried his hand and ran at full speed into a concrete cinder block wall and bent a motor. So we can't use it now. We have to wait for the parts in order to use it, so I can't give you a demo. I'm sorry. Okay. But I suppose I could send a request over to China to see if they can record a demo and release it. So I don't know, give the affirmative if you want that. Okay. Next question. When is the Hubsan X4 Jet coming in stores? I don't know about stores. Again, I'm not in sales. But I do know that online speaking on our official website, it's listed as a release date of July 20th. knowing warehousing and everything and logistics, it's going to be a little late. It's already the 24th. They have to rush a shipment. They have to, well, not rush a shipment. They have to get everything shipped out. And I think it'll take them another 2 weeks or so, 2-3 weeks or so to get everything out. They're in the process of stocking everything and making sure everything is in line to go. So I don't know about brick and mortar stores, but I do know that online retailers, even if it's a little late, we're getting them out, I think, at least at the very latest by August. I mean, it's a very much anticipated release. We don't want to disappoint. We also just don't want to do things wrong. Rather be a little late than have crap go down. Okay. Since you moved, are you guys expanding U.S. operations? Depends on what operations you mean. I mean, we have plans of being able to just reach more people in general for technical support. Being like more office space just means we can fit more people, so we can have more reps, and I'll be training people like I trained Vivian, who you will see, by the way, I think within the next couple of weeks. So yeah. Hello from Michigan. Oh, I totally forgot. Okay. Hi to all of the States pilots. Hello to, I see French pilots. I see Brazilian pilots. I see Spain, Mexico. You guys are awesome. Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you for coming. I'll reiterate that again at the end of the live stream to cover up for my chagrin for totally forgetting that. Okay. Oh yes. Hello to South Africa. Dude, you guys are like, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, it's such a hard area of the globe to expand expand retail to, because you guys have there are quite a few pilots over there who fly Hubsan. It's just like but at the same time that it's big, it's also small. So the demand wouldn't be as big as, for example, Europe, when there's their collective countries all mushed into one region. So, like, of course, we'd be expanding in Europe first, and then we go to places like Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. It's just for those countries, things are so scattered, and when you're trying to expand your reach as a company, it's not that easy. So, like, I've already suggested to sales a bit. I was like, guys, like, we have a lot of South African, New Zealand, Australian, etc. clients and pilots who really need parts, and they're not seeing them on Banggood and GearBest, and that's the only place where they can get them, because we can't go there yet ourselves. So here's to hoping that they really, really, really take that to heart, and at least stock the channels from which you guys can buy stuff, even if some people prefer, some people don't. A lot of people prefer to buy directly from us. If we can at least stock those retailers up, I think we should at least be able to, push through the time in which we can't be there ourselves. So yeah, I am running 16.6. I'm running 1.1.16. I don't know why the heck I said. Ignore me. 1.1.16, 2.1.38, and 1.4.1. Latest? Yes, those are amongst the latest releases. 1.1.41 is the penultimate release on the flight control firmware. 2.1.38 is interesting. I've never tested it before, but I do know I think that's the penultimate in terms of testing, as you can tell. That's the penultimate in terms of the RX or receiver firmware. And of course, 1.1.16, there hasn't been anything out new for at least I don't think so, for the H906A. So yeah. Is this what you're looking for? Is the answer to some stores? Okay, I don't think that's a question. All right. Will there be some update for the H501A to get digital stabilized camera? Now, I don't know that. I do know that when they released the 501A and the 501SS, they specifically designed the video module themselves over at R&D. Quick fact, by the way, the original 501S video module, we did not design or manufacture. So this time around for the upgrade, they did the manufacturing themselves and the research themselves so they can introduce that upgrade. But I don't know when I don't know when it's going to come out. They've been focusing so much on other products like the 123D and the other upcoming. Oh, by the way, keep your eye on the upcoming releases. I can't say anything else besides that for now. But again, as I mentioned before, I have no idea. They don't release that sort of information to us unless they're absolutely sure and they release the product. So I'm compiling a list to send over to them at the end of this week. It's just been it's just been a very eventful 2 weeks in terms of suggestions. So yeah. Hubsan X4 Jet, when available, please. Have already addressed that. I think it's fastest via Banggood and GearBest for some reason. Second fastest would be the Hubsan official website. I honestly think, though, that they're going to be releasing it on the Hubsan official website this time around. They're very proud of the Jet, so keep your eye on that. Okay, next question. Love from England. Love from the States. Why lose? Oh, shoot. Hold on. I lost my place. Why loses height my Hubsan H501S? What do you mean by that? There are several situations in which your aircraft would descend. Number one is low battery. Plain and simple. It will attempt to descend once it hits 6.8 volts. And that's just for safety reasons. Second is if you are in altitude hold mode, barometer is not going to be perfect. Air current is always moving. Aircraft is completely dependent on the barometer when on altitude hold mode. So it'll either keep on ascending, which is much more the case if the wind is picking up, or it will also try and descend. Third possibility is that you're lower to the ground. Signal is not as strong on the ground for some reason, or so the engineers tell me. And I've seen that happen. Like sometimes it just lowers itself a bit. There's a discrepancy of around 5 feet. So it's not perfect. Lowers itself. That's it for normal situations. So we're talking about not normal situations. Then we've got barometer related issues, but without further details, I can't answer that question. So if you have more detailed information about the incident and you have issues, I highly recommend that you email us at service@hubsan.com with the video of what you're talking about. And and in particular, it looks like that's the Mexican flag, if I'm not mistaken, in your profile picture. If you're from Mexico and you speak Spanish more so than you speak English, go ahead and speak Spanish. Habla español ahora. We have one Spanish-speaking representative, two actually, including me, but I'm not as good as her, obviously, because she's Mexican and I'm Chinese, Latina, as they call me in the office. So well, not every time, yeah, but we can get to the Spanish messages much more easily than if you're to translate it into English, because sometimes the translation makes absolutely no sense. Like absolutely no sense. So, por favor, escríbelo en español. Si estás más cómodo haciendo esto. Okay. Next. H123D so far is a huge improvement. Loving the testing so far. Any new Hubsan drones coming out? Already hinted to that. Keep your eye on the release line. I can't really say any more than that. And also pay attention to some of the answers that we give people, you know, who ask questions, certain questions on our page. Yeah. Hi, can you do return to home on the H501A on the HT011A? Well, yeah, there's a button specifically for return to home on the right-hand side of on the top right-hand side of the transmitter, right next to the video button. That's what you long press it to initiate the return to home, and then you short press it to stop it. Okay, Annie, why does the application for the H501M/A not actually have return to home? It's annoying when you drop signal to beg. Okay, there is return to home on the application. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, unless you're trying to use a 2.4 transmitter in conjunction with the application, which wouldn't serve any purpose at all. So, okay, when is the new drone release? Which new drone? Got to be specific, man. Yay, I made it, kinda. Oh, don't worry. You'll be able to see most of the live stream as long as you made it for, like, at this part of the live stream. You can also ask questions or question, whatever you want to ask. Just don't repeatedly post it, because it will take up space and distract me from other people's questions, and believe me, we don't want that happening. And it might, like, honestly, spamming is really annoying. So nobody would actually, like, if you imagine somebody like continuously spamming, would you want to answer that question? Think about it that way. And also, don't take up the space for other people, just because other people might be wanting to know about different questions, wanting to know about the same question. So yeah, go ahead and post questions. It's not an issue. Can Hubsan US stop playing with prices? What I mean is they supply a lot of big stores and sell them more expensive. It makes it hard to buy from local stores. I can't really answer that. I'm not in sales. If you want to ask about that, you might want to email sales@hubsan.com, honestly. Because if I try to give answers to that, that's like trying to ask the barber to bake you a cake. Shally Liu. No, I am not Shally. Shally is currently on leave. I'm Annie and from North America. Shally is from Shenzhen. Not from Shenzhen, I should say. She's from China. I don't know exactly where she's from in China. Why does my Hubsan 122D charge line always burn up? Checked all connections, or 3 more and problems have burned a couple of them. If you have multiple ones that are burning up, it might be something up with the power that's running in your house. And just in case, if you could send us an email at service@hubsan.com detailing to us where exactly you purchased those lines and pictures of the stuff burning up, just so that we can check to see if there's anything that QC picked up on. It might be there as well. Otherwise, I haven't really had any reports of continuous line burnups, and usually after we replace it once, there's not really an issue. So yeah, check the power running through your house, and also, like, go ahead and shoot us an email. We'll see from our end what we can ascertain. When will the software update be available for the H201A, 206A? As I preface the live stream, I'm not going to be talking about releases. And even if I knew of one, honestly, like, unless it were fully tested, I wouldn't talk about it. But in this case, I have no idea about the 216A. When is Hubsan going to fix the crappy, confusing naming scheme? And why the hell is everything from a Hubsan an X4? Guess what an X looks like? A quadcopter. Yes, that's why it's called an X4. If you notice, our 301S is not an X4. Why? Because it's not a quadcopter. Get it? I'm not really in control of the naming, and personally speaking, I don't have any opinions on the naming scheme. I just find it funny how they keep on using letters and numbers. I just take it as it is. People will have differing opinions on it. It's people are free to have differing opinions on it. Can't control that. Some people don't care about it. Some people like it. Some people don't. Don't think there's anything to fix, in my opinion. But okay. Is everything going to be well and truly tested? As comprehensively as we can do it. Honestly. There's only so much that the QC team can do, the QC engineering team can do. Believe me when I say those guys are really crazy, obsessive about making sure things are working right, and if things are not working right, then they dispatch a report to R&D, and then R&D has to go ahead and try and test and see if there's anything wrong with it. It's a long process. It's a long process. But yeah. Batteries. We need batteries. And that's the tricky part. Did you know that Chinese customs is being a big pain in the about batteries? They are not letting anything out and anything in. If you ship anything with the battery in, they will detain it. Keep it there. And we'll only release it to you if you pay a nice, tidy sum. That's one of the reasons it's so hard, by the way, to get batteries out from our end to you guys. We're really sorry about that. We know it sucks. That's why I submitted my input to management and sales about the entire like at least stock, GearBest, and Banggood, because those are two viable channels through which you guys can actually purchase the batteries. So yeah, that's probably the most efficient solution at this point. Hello from the UK. My H501S has control problems past 100 feet, hovers in place, doesn't respond. Haha. Did you put antenna? Did you do an antenna modification on your transmitter? We find a lot of that happens when people do, because their modules get damaged from the modification. Dun, dun, dun. In any other case, we need more information. I highly recommend that you give us an email for that, and also peruse our Back to Basics tutorial on how to troubleshoot the 2.4 flight connection. If you don't know what the Back to Basics tutorial series is, go to the main Hubsan Facebook page. The tag, by the way, is at Hubsan001, the @ symbol, name Hubsan001. And pinned to the very top of the page, right underneath our banner, is going to be the entire list of Back to Basics episodes that we've released. It's pretty comprehensive. Look for the 2.4 connection troubleshoot. Jamaican pilots. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Hello, Jamaica. Hope you guys are having fun with it over there. You guys have some really awesome some really awesome terrain to fly over and view. So hello from Canada. Hello. Will Hubsan upgrade the H501? Oh crap. I just lost my spot again. It just jumped down. That makes me so angry when that happens. Okay. Will Hubsan upgrade the H501S's camera? I answered that question earlier in the live stream. Same thing, because the camera module, with the exception of the Wi-Fi module on the H501A that's attached to the camera module, is the same thing. So I recommend going back and seeing that particular answer. Hello from Argentina. Hey, that's where I learned my Spanish. Is this Annie? Yes, it's Annie. Hello. Our big problem is getting batteries imported. Oh yeah. Okay, to whoever keeps on posting why loses my height Hubsan H501S Mexico, I've already addressed that question. If you didn't understand what I was saying, please email us in Spanish at service@hubsan.com, because you keep on spamming the same question and it's taking up a lot of space And well, honestly speaking, I don't mind answering your question. We don't have enough details to completely address the issue that you're experiencing. So, por favor, mándalos un mail de correo electrónico por el inbox service@hubsan.com. Because if we don't have, si no tenemos más detalles sobre la situación, es muy difícil ayudarte. So please email us the appropriate details and don't keep on posting the same question. Thank you. What about an on and off switch to the H501? We've kind of, that's like an ages old request, but for some reason they don't want to put an on and off switch. I mean, I think a more suitable conjecture to that particular question would be, we're not stopping at the 501 series. So we could put one in, but I think R&D would much rather implement it in a new product, would be my point of view on it. Okay, was messing around with the questions. I like my H122D, but H501 has control issues. Again, please send us a video. We need more details, including whether or not you fitted antennas. And please send it via email, because if we try to get into the individual troubleshooting here, I won't be able to get to the other people's questions, and I don't have much time left as it is. So yeah. H122D could have faster yaw. My answer to that is, please have a look at the 123D. Quad hit the window live. Yes, it did. That was a most theatrical moment, wasn't it? Test fail. Yep. Will there be any possibility to get the H501 SS in acro mode? There's already full manual mode on it. I don't recommend trying to flip it. I just don't. It's a big quad to flip, and it's heavy. So most likely not. You speak Spanish. I'm from Argentina. Yes. Yo hablo español. Aprendí en el Capital Federal. Will you support third-party receivers like the T8SG jumper in the future? I personally, and along with the technician, have informed R&D just about how important it is to be able to have support, not even if not just support, but compatibility at the very least with third-party transmitters for the racing line. I don't think it'll happen with the GPS line because it's just too complicated. We use like all the protocols are going to be different, and it'll just be a mess. But for the racing line, I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation, especially how much of a norm it is in the industry, and also, you know. But again, that's all up to them. We've already told them that, and my friend who is in R&D really knows. Like I know he heard it when I told him. Like I told him, like they really want compatibility. It's like so important to have compatibility with other transmitters, and even more so like that you can tune the aircraft with stuff like Betaflight. Like that's really important. So it looks like from my friend's response that they took it to heart. At least my friend did. So emergency stop on application. I don't think that's a good idea, considering how many people accidentally do things on the application as it is. Can you imagine someone panicking when something is going on and accidentally tapping the emergency stop and things just going? I know that's the point, but that's one of those things you're going to go, like that R&D, like I've covered before, I've said this before, they have to consider whether it's worth the potential risk of implementing. So yeah. And also, like, there's the downside of if there's an emergency stop on the application, you still need a connection. So if there's no connection, the emergency stop is no use. So gotta weigh the pros and cons of that. I saw that question, and I will reiterate, please email us more details on that, because we need to know exactly. We need to, first of all, we need to archive all of that information. And if I were to try and troubleshoot it here, I would not have any more time for the other questions. Pardon. Again, to the person who is asking about your H501S descending, please send us an email. We need more details. Will Hubsan have a new drone with a 2 or 3 axis gimbal? Watch the product release line. I'm not allowed to answer that question in its entirety. I know things, but it would not bode well for me to actually answer that question in all its gory detail. They have allowed me to hint at it, though, so there you go. I can say, though, to the person that is posting about losing control, it's not about the battery. If it were like, if we're talking about the battery, talking about the transmitter completely shutting off, not systematically shutting down functions as the battery gets lower, that would be of no use. So that's for sure not a battery problem. Tengo un Expros estándar y tuve 2 veces un problema de desconexión después de calibrar y prender los motores. Perdí la señal de control y el dron se elevó. Solo creo que con la función de return to home. ¿Por qué podría ser? Yes, pues es una activación de la función de return to home. Después de me parece un problema con el hardware de 2.4, de la conexión 2.4. Si tenés un video de la situación, por favor, mándanos por el correo service@hubsan.com. Este es tu situación, el problema es más complicado y yo opino que se necesite mandar el drone a nosotros en la oficina para repararlo. Okay, next question. So what's planned in the future? Lots of similar models or long-term models in our lineup? Let's just say that, again, as I will reiterate before, as awesome as the 501 series has been, we aren't stopping there. Many of the suggestions that you made for the 501S, I think there's a reason they're not necessarily looking at using the 501S as a platform. That's as far as I dare go to say. Okay. Got your jet test unit today. Pretty complex little beast. First flight was super fun. So glad to hear that. You have no idea how much, like, both Christopher and I were concerned about the reception on the aircraft, just because it is our second release and we only have the experience off the storm to go off of. So, okay. For all the folks wondering if it's a good aircraft or not, you have one other affirmative there. So, okay, thank you, Hubsan, for having this live Q&A. Thank you for attending. I know it was a bit. I know it was a bit late coming out today just because of logistics, but at least we're going, and I can. It'll be hopefully back to normal with my usual schedule of posting things 30 minutes ahead of time and alerting people a day before, you know. So yeah. How do you determine if the H501A 5.8 FPV feed is transmitting properly without an H01A or H906A? I've had nothing but problems with two different HS001 displays. Honestly, from my perspective, there's no other way except to have one of those transmitters. If you have a spectrum analyzer, if you have access to a spectrum analyzer, that would help. Because, like, for example, whenever we do repairs, we test with the transmitter, and we test before an actual flight, we test using a spectrum analyzer. So if you have a spectrum analyzer, that would help you. If you don't, because those things are really freaking expensive, then I would recommend buying a used H901A in good condition, or just buying an H901A. They're pretty cheap secondhand if especially, and it's an especially good deal if they're in good working condition. So if you buy one especially from someone you trust, like, it'll be a lot easier for you than having to use a freaking spectrum analyzer. Okay. The display works fine, but I have control issues. I'm not going to reiterate what I said before. Do you know when Hubsan will come out with stickers or wraps to H501SS? Honestly speaking, they've got their attention focused on a lot of other things. To have to expand into that area would probably detract from the time that they have and resources that they have just full on funneling right now into all the stuff that we want coming out. So I don't think they're going to be doing that. I'm kind of sorry to say that, but in the end, we're choosing to focus a lot more on the products that we're trying to release. So yeah, I don't have much time left. Got to keep on going. What is the Facebook group link? I need to send you email too. Are you talking about our main Facebook page? If you're talking about the main Facebook page, the tag is the tag is @ symbol at Hubsan001. So at Hubsan001. That's our main Facebook page. If you want to send an email, please email service@hubsan.com. Will Hubsan be making some sub 250G? We already have a lot of those, except most of them are not GPS, and the GPS ones are mostly brushed quads. So if you want a non-brushed quad that's GPS, that has GPS and is sub 250G, it's not very easy to do. Okay. How fast is the H123D jet? I haven't pushed it to its fastest, but especially in acro mode, it's really freaking fast. It's really tough. Like, it takes a lot to even bend a motor. As I said earlier in the live stream, like, it took having to get the aircraft running into a cinder block while at full speed to bend the motor shaft, not even completely knock it out of commission, bend it. So, I mean, I honestly don't know how fast that thing can go, but at its maximum. But I mean, you got people posting they can go like 40, 50 miles an hour. That's really fast. I guess what you would have to do to know is to push it to its limits. If you get it, just be careful not to crash. Okay. Puedo cambiar el firmware del drone desde y del RC desde un MacBook Pro. Desafortunadamente no. Solamente por el PC. Thanks for answering my question about battery voltage and control issues. No problem. Again, I know you keep on posting about control issues. If you really want to know the answer to that, please email us. That will take copious troubleshooting. It'll take us, it usually takes me it takes me around 3 emails to pinpoint the problem, which is already really quick as it is. So, I take the risk of having to do it wrong here. So without spending more money, I am something. Sorry for the comment. That's nothing to be sorry for. I mean, that's perfectly understandable. If you don't want to spend more money on a transmitter, then, you won't be able to troubleshoot the problem, but at least you'll still have your aircraft. And if you like flying it, then you can fly it. But if you want to troubleshoot the problem, it's there's another option is that you can send it to us and we can do it. But considering that you don't want to spend any more money on the case, I don't know if you want to do that, especially if you're a hobbyist who's into doing these things yourself. We have that option open though. Okay. So that brings me to the end of the questions for now, and I have to go. As much as I like answering questions, especially via this channel, and also to express our collective gratitude as a company towards the entire pilot base, I've got other things to do. Lots of love to everyone. Again, thank you to everyone who has come and asked your questions. Because of the questions you have asked and the questions that I've been able to get to via the live stream, honestly, everyone will be the better for it, because even if it doesn't get to everyone else who is not here, we'll still, at least a couple of other people will be able to find their answers on live streams like this. So it's something that we do for you and also the people who can't be here. Again, we also have other live stream times, and of course, this particular live stream recording will be available after we, end the stream, which I am reluctant to do, but considering how many other questions that people have. So I definitely appreciate everyone who took the time to come on and ask your questions. I also appreciate the people who who ask questions about things that you might not get from another online group, just because it might not be widespread information, and assuming that I'm authorized to, answer it publicly, then I will always do my best to do so. So yeah, thank you to everyone. Send a salve to Brazil and one goes Corinthians. Hello, Brazil. You guys are very enthusiastic. I noticed. Hello to Greece. I saw you guys. Thank you for expressing your enjoyment of the product. We appreciate that very much. And no problem at all. Hello and goodbye from North America. Hello and goodbye from all of Hubsan. And we will see you guys, I believe, what is the next live stream date? The next live stream date is this Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard, or as some people like to say, Pacific Daylight Time because of daylight savings. I'm just going to say it's 1:30 p.m. on the Pacific Coast, on the west coast of the United States. For people outside of the States, it's going to be 8:30 p.m. UTC. 8:30 p.m. UTC. July 26th, Thursday, is going to be our next live stream. I will make sure to inform people ahead of time, as I usually do, now that I'm less shaken up by the move. And we will see you guys then, and we will see everyone who is watching this live stream, not live, over the recording. So yeah, happy flying. See you guys.